Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Matt and I do like video games, and in today's video we have got to talk about the Xbox Showcase. I just got done watching it. I was reacting to it with a bunch of buddies over on the Game Drain. Guys, it was an awesome show. We're going to be talking about it in today's video, so let's get right into it. So for me personally, guys, I give this show a 9 out of 10. And the only reason I don't give it a full-on 10 out of 10 is because there was realistically a lull in the show. There was, the Sea of Thieves moments, the Elder Scrolls Online moments, the Fallout 76 moments that kind of served as a lull in the show. But outside of those moments, this show had tons of peaks. It started with peaks, it middled with peaks, it ended with peaks. This show was really, really well done, and the pacing was phenomenal as well. So guys, there was really a lot at this showcase. Now I'm not going to go through each individual game, because if I do that, I feel like we will be here for a long, long time. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over my highlights from the show, my personal picks for my favorite things I saw from the showcase, and we're going to talk about them. So let's get into the first one. And the first one is, of course, the show opener, Fable. Now, of course, everyone was expecting to see Fable. I mean, Xbox pretty much teased it. It was right there in their whole marketing hype for the Xbox Showcase. They were very blatant about Fable being there. But I was definitely not expecting to see Fable gameplay. I was expecting CGI, and then, Aaron Greenberg came out and said there won't be any CGI from Xbox first party at this showcase. So I'm like, okay, an in-engine trailer for Fable? Because that's fine too. Well, turns out we saw Fable in-engine as well as gameplay, and it looks fantastic. It's got all the humor that you would expect from a Fable game, but it's also got this a little bit of a darker feel with some of these vicious beasts that they showed in the trailer, and I'm very interested to see how they continue to meld those two together. But what really blew me away with this trailer is we opened up Playground Games, and then you see Richard Ayoade. Now, if you don't know who Richard Ayoade is, he's a British comedian, just a funny guy. He's one of my favorite people in comedy, honestly. And to see his face rendered in engine in the new Fable, he's a part of the game. Richard Ayoade is a part of the game. Now, I know a lot of people don't care about that, but for me, that is fucking awesome. He's literally like an icon for nerdy black guys like myself. So to see him represented in a video game that I am excited for is just awesome. It's really great to see. Now, while Fable looked amazing, we do have to acknowledge we didn't see a release date, obviously. We didn't even see a release window. So it leads me to believe that this is probably a little further out. Instead of 2024, likely, 2025, which I'm not too mad at, because the things we'll talk about later in the show, 2024 is looking pretty damn good. So I'm not too worried about that. And then the show leads us into the next game, which is Compulsion Games' brand new IP, South of Midnight. Now, if the leaks are to be believed with this one, this is a deep South fantasy setting for the game, and you look at the trailer, you listen to the music in the trailer, you can definitely hear the Deep South in this trailer, you can see the Deep South in this trailer. Really bluesy Southern music, and I thought it was really awesome. The art style also goes really well with the tone that the music was setting, I think. And I'm interested to see more about this game. I want to see what that fantasy element of this game is, because at the end of the trailer, she pulls out this, I don't know what it is. It's like a string, and it starts glowing and stuff. She looks like she's about to get attacked by this monster behind her. And I really want to see what that looks like, because I'm interested to see what that actual fantasy element looks like. Because I'm assuming all the fantasy elements are kind of tied to this magical string that she's carrying around. And then we saw a game from Ubisoft called Star Wars Outlaws. Now, I don't really know what to expect from this. We did see CGI. It looks interesting. It looks promising. But again, CGI is CGI. CGI looks amazing. The game might look entirely different. We don't know yet, but we don't have to wait long to find out, because we have a gameplay walkthrough reveal at Ubisoft Forward, which is today when this video releases. So at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, I'm definitely going to be tuning in to watch that because I really want to see what this game looks like in motion. And then up next, guys, is a game that I am super hyped for. I've been waiting what feels like forever to hear more about this game, and we finally saw it at the showcase. We saw actual gameplay as well, and that game is Avowed from Obsidian Entertainment. Guys, I can't tell you how hyped I am for this game. I'm actually watching this back as I'm talking right now in 4K, and man, it looks fantastic. It really does kind of look like Obsidian's take on Skyrim, and Obsidian being who they are, obviously they add in the humor. They add in more humor, I should say, because Bethesda does humor, but Obsidian does it to kind of a different level, you know what I mean? It just looks awesome, guys. There's also guns in this game, which I thought was crazy. There was a point in the trailer where the guy just pulls out a pair of guns and shoots somebody. I was like, this is fantastic. I was not expecting that, but I'm super hyped for this. We didn't get a release date, unfortunately, but I wasn't really expecting it. I was expecting the release window, and the release window is 2024. And if I had to guess, I'm going to say that this game is at the end of 2024, because a game that we will be talking about later, I'm going to say, is probably at the beginning of 2024. So Avowed looks awesome, but we're going to keep it moving to the next game. And guys, we got to talk about Hellblade 2 because it did show up at the showcase, and that's exactly the game I was talking about when I suggested maybe we'll be seeing it early 2024. And I'll talk about why here in a minute. But we did see Hellblade 2. We actually saw Hellblade 2 running on Xbox Series X, and it looks fantastic, guys. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, I'm a little disappointed with the showing. Not because it looks bad, it looks phenomenal. Plus, the audio in the game just sounds amazing. I was listening to it obviously with headphones, and the voices coming in on this side, that side. It sounded like they were in front of me at points and behind me at other points. It was really, really well done. The only real reason I'm disappointed with this showing for Hellblade is because we didn't really see any combat for the game. We've heard the reports that, a lot of the animating team actually went and did combat training so that they could actually lock down the combat in the game. That sounds really amazing. But up until this point, we haven't seen any of it in action, and it was a little bit disappointing to not see some combat from Hellblade 2. But nonetheless, it was running on Xbox Series X. The game looks absolutely stunning, especially watching it back in 4K. I know it was streamed in 4K 60, but I only watched it 1440p 60 because I was doing my own stream reacting to it and I didn't want to stress anything. But I am watching it back now as I'm talking, and 4K 60 over on Xbox's channel, and God, it looks amazing, guys. It really, really does. And then the game gave us the release window of 2024, and like I said, I think this could be early 2024, and the only reason I say that is because going into this showcase, I wouldn't have been too surprised to see late 2023, because if you think back to that kind of funny interview with Phil Spencer after the disastrous launch of Redfall, we actually got some sort of insight, some peek behind the curtain in terms of what to expect on the timeline for Xbox. And Phil Spencer mentioned on that timeline specifically Starfield, he mentioned Forza Motorsport, which we will be talking about later as well, and then also he mentioned Hellblade. Now, he mentioned Hellblade by name, which made me think maybe it's not out of the realm of possibility that this game is much closer than we may have thought. But even with that said, I'm not too surprised that it's not trying to target 2023, because I think that this is a game for Xbox that they really want to be there in Game of the Year discussions at the end of the year. And launching it late 2023, probably like December, well, that disqualifies it for this year. And by the time we get to next year's Game Awards in December, it's one of those things where there's a lot of recency bias. Not many people are going to remember a late 2023 release for Hellblade and factor that into Game of the Year for 2024. So, Xbox probably wants to kind of position this around the springtime. I'm just guessing. I could be entirely wrong on this, but I would imagine Xbox probably wants to position this around the springtime, April, May, or June, or something like that. And then, guys, real quick, we just got to talk about Forza Motorsport, because it finally got a release date of October 10th of this year, and I'm actually pretty excited. Forza Motorsport really isn't my thing historically. I lean more towards Forza Horizon, but with it being the first motorsport of this generation, it also seems to be a fresh base. You know, it's not called Forza Motorsport 8, it's just Forza Motorsport, so it's kind of a reboot of sorts. I'm looking forward to it, guys. Plus, every time they show this game, it looks phenomenal. It really does look like they took the Forza Tech engine to a completely different level for next gen only, and I'm really excited to see what that looks like, not only on the Xbox Series X, but the Xbox Series S as well. And speaking of the Xbox Series S, one thing I do over here on my channel quite often, I mean, it's worth mentioning, is Xbox Series S videos. Now, we got a brand new announcement for Xbox Series S, and this one I was not expecting. We've got a 1 terabyte Xbox Series S console incoming at $349 USD. Now this is interesting. Also, on top of that, it's an all-black console. It looks really sick, honestly. It's supposed to be hitting shelves September 1st. I'm not entirely sure if pre-orders are up. I'll leave that in the description if they are, if you want to check it out. But this does look interesting. I'm not sure if I'm going to be hopping in on it on day one, although I wouldn't mind doing that. But at the same time, there's also a lot of games I got to buy. Plus, I already got my Series S right in front of me. But I will say, if you're in the market for an Xbox and you're looking to play all these great games coming out from Xbox, that might be the way to go. You get 1 terabyte of space as opposed to the 512 gigabytes on the normal Series S. Plus, you get a pretty sleek look with the all-black finish. It looks really awesome. I would highly recommend checking into that if you don't have an Xbox already. But up next, we've got the second in the holy trinity of Western RPGs. The first one was Obsidian with Avowed in this showcase. This one is inXile Entertainment with their brand new IP called Clockwork Revolution. Now the game looks interesting, guys. I really think inXile is a super talented studio. I'm interested to see them going the first person route for this game. I'm actually hyped about that because, you know, top-down RPGs typically aren't my thing, and that's really what their bread and butter is. So I want to see what it looks like when they go full first-person shooter for an RPG. And it seems like the leaks were right for this game because it is a steampunk FPS RPG. I remember years ago people were talking about inXile's next game being a steampunk FPS RPG, and it looks like that is definitely the case. But there is a twist that I definitely wasn't expecting, and that is the fact that you can bend time in this game. I am interested to see how that works in actual gameplay, because there was one actual scene in the gameplay that they showed where you just destroyed a bridge and then you kind of warped time backwards and the bridge was fixed. I'm interested to see what situations you can use that in, if it's certain situations only, or if you can use it at your own leisure. I mean, I guess for now we don't really know, but it is exciting to finally see inXile's new game. And guys, finally, we need to talk about Starfield, because going into this showcase, Starfield was my most anticipated game this generation. But leaving this showcase, Starfield could possibly be my most anticipated game of all time. The only game I don't think it beats in that regard might be Halo 3. Outside of Halo 3 though, I don't know of a game that I've been more consumed by excitement for. And guys, they showed us so much in this Starfield Direct presentation. They showed us the world, the inhabitants, the alien wildlife. They showed us character creation, the skills system. They showed us ships and ship customization, which looks phenomenal. They reiterated the ship combat that they showed us last year at Xbox's showcase. On top of that, they showed us companions, which is something I was really hyped for. And then on top of that, they showed us space flight and how that works. They showed us exploration. They showed us outposts. And then the biggest thing that they showed us, guys, was the combat. I think a lot of people, myself included, watching last year's showcase of Starfield, we came away thinking, you know, that combat looks fine. It didn't look like anything that would, you know, wow somebody. But what we saw in this showcase, guys, it was such a huge step up from the combat we saw in last year's demo. It looks phenomenal, guys. It really does. And you can definitely tell that id Software was in there. And you can definitely tell that they were in the lab with id Software working on that combat for this past year, because it really is a leap forward from last year's demonstration. And then they quickly mention weapon customization in the game, which is something that slipped my mind, honestly. I know it was a part of Fallout 4, but it wasn't something that I really dove into in Fallout 4, so I wasn't really thinking about it. But they did mention that it is a very robust weapon customization system, so I am excited to see what that looks like when we get our hands on the game in September. And it's also worth mentioning that they announced 3 different editions of this game. You can get the standard edition, obviously, with a case, a game, and all that. And then you can get the premium edition, which is a steelbook case, a constellation patch, Starfield Shattered Space, which is DLC, so you get access to the DLC for Starfield once it releases. And then you get 5 days of early access to the game. I need that. And then also you get Constellation Skin Pack, a digital soundtrack, and art book. Now, if you go Starfield Constellation Edition, this is the big boy right here. This is available for $299. It is the collector's edition of Starfield. It comes with a steelbook case, the game. This is the issue with this edition for me. It's a digital code. There is no option for a disc with this collector's edition. That is a big no-no for me. On top of that, you've also got a Starfield Chronomark watch, which is the watch that you use in game, but they brought it to life. You can put it on your actual wrist and just wear it like a smartwatch. It looks really awesome. It comes with a case for that watch, and it comes with a constellation patch that you would expect in the premium edition. Now here's the thing, guys. I've been saying for the longest time, day one I'm getting the collector's edition for Starfield, and I gotta be honest, I'm tempted, but I see, no disc for the game. I'm getting a watch. Now that watch does look pretty badass. I really can't lie to you guys. It does look like an awesome watch, but I've got fat guy wrists. Most watches, especially a watch that's probably in a collector's edition of a video game, isn't gonna fit me. So I don't have much use for it. I don't want to just put it up there behind me for display. I might not be grabbing this collector's edition. I might go with the premium edition. All I really need from this is that early access. If I can get that early access, I'll be a happy guy. And guys, really, there was a ton of stuff at this showcase that was super interesting to me. I didn't get to all of it in this video because I kind of want to keep it a little more condensed, a little shorter. I don't want to just be editing together an hour of me rambling like an idiot. But just really quickly, shout out to Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty. That DLC looks fantastic. Plus, we got Keanu on the stage again, and he wasn't weird like many other celebrities are on stage at these events. But we've got Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty coming on September 26th, which is interesting. Pretty damn close to Starfield, but I'm not mad at it. I can live with it. I'm excited for it. It's going to be an awesome month in September for gaming. And also shout out to things like the Persona 3 remake coming to Xbox Game Pass day one. You've also got Persona 5 Tactica coming to Xbox Game Pass day one. Also, Atlus announced their brand new IP, Metaphor, or at least they showed their brand new IP, Metaphor. It was announced years and years ago, I believe, but they showed the game at Xbox's showcase. Now, that's not coming to Xbox Game Pass, unfortunately, for the people who would be really excited for that. But the big news is that that game was shown at an Xbox showcase. That's a massive step forward for Xbox in the Japanese market. So hats off to Xbox for that. Those games aren't really my kind of thing, but I know a lot of people love that stuff. So Xbox deserves some credit for pulling that off in their showcase. Now, with that being said, I think I can bring this video to a close, but leave a comment down below. I really want to hear from you guys. What was your favorite thing from the showcase? For me personally, besides Starfield. Starfield is the easy favorite for me, but besides Starfield, I think my favorite thing might have to be Fable. I was not expecting to see Fable gameplay, and we saw some Fable gameplay, and it looked absolutely amazing, guys. I'm really hyped. It's hard to pick one thing from this show that I like the most, but I want to hear from you guys. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what your favorite thing from the showcase was. Leave a like if you like the video, and if you're enjoying this kind of content and you want to stay up to date with it going forward over here on the channel, the best way to do that is consider subscribing, consider ringing that notification bell, because that helps you stay up to date with everything that happens over here on the channel, and it helps promote me in the algorithm, helps push the videos out to more people, and I really do appreciate that. And with that being said, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.